guys, happy Sunday with Satan. So, alright, everything that I did find out yesterday through the board is actually true. So it's really creepy, well, not too creepy. The fault line that runs, there's like 3 major ones, and then there's a new one, the Madrid fault line. So if Indiana were to literally have an earthquake strong enough, it would just separate. So on my Patreon page, I have a big article that I kind of pieced together this morning on the fault line, on what can happen to us living here in Indiana. We would be no more. We would be completely no more. We would just fall in to where, I don't know. So, the earth would be eating us. So the Madrid fault line is right down by St. Louis, the Ohio River. So it actually runs through Tennessee, Kentucky, Missouri, and it's just barely on the Ohio River border. So it runs through those states. So that's just, it's really scary of how it would happen. I don't know if you guys can see that picture. Maybe you can. Maybe I can't get it to go bigger. Alright. So, if you guys can see that picture, do you see that line, the blue line? That's Indiana. If a hurricane or a natural, a catastrophe were to literally, see if I can do this, there we go. This line right here, so Indiana, and then I'm in the middle. A lot of us are in the middle. So it would literally split us open, and the Gulf of Mexico, am I correct, I think, would actually start to run up into the lakes, the Great Lakes up here. So that's kind of scary. So yes, it would take out, it would split Louisiana, it would split Arkansas, it would split kind of Illinois, just a little bit, not too much, but it would definitely take out the great, let me see, the eastern, more of the eastern northern part of Indiana, and that's us, where we live. So, kind of scary. Yeah, so I was just kind of thinking and just, going over all of the Mothman stuff and seeing, seeing my videos, and then, seeing Follow the Leader going on now with the paranormal ghost hunters, which is cool, totally cool. So yeah, the Mothman. It actually, right before the polar vortex hit the Midwest, 44 people actually did die. And the Mothman was actually spotted in Muncie, Indiana, before that happened. So, and there were more sightings of it up in the Great Lakes, up by Michigan. So it's pretty weird. It's very odd. So, this is the little article about the veteran that actually saw the Mothman. So yeah, blah blah blah. Here is the area where the Muncie Mothman was sighted. While it's not likely that a Mothman could be following roads, it's worth noting that US 35 connects Lake Michigan at Michigan City, Indiana through Muncie to Point Pleasant, West Virginia. So it's US 35 that runs over the Silver Bridge. So the Silver Bridge, US 35, connects all of us to the original Mothman place in Point Pleasant. Or Muncie to Point Pleasant, West Virginia. So it actually connects us all, which is really weird. Alright, so here's the witness. So, quote, the witness is a military veteran, hunter, trapper, and a farmer who lives in the immediate area. I don't know who he is. I wish I did so I could ask him some questions. So, alright. So he continued, his knowledge of military flying craft, wildlife, and his keen sense of observance was apparent when I talked to him. The winged being that he was observing was unlike anything he had seen before. The creature was flying just above at the treetop level, and was easily visible to the witness. So his reaction was to slam on his brakes in wonderment, exclaiming to his wife, "Do you see that?" His wife was shaken by the sudden stop and was unable to react fast enough to see the winged being. So sightings of the Mothman are usually a warning that something is about to happen. So I don't know. I don't really know what it's doing, what's going on. I mean, I understand what the Mothman is. I don't know. I don't know if it's just for fun, just like Slenderman, urban legends. I don't know. I've never seen this thing, so I would have to see this thing in order to believe it. But we have, alright, so we have more now. We have tons of websites popping up. The paranormal community jumps on these things like, flea markets. So we have more Great Lakes Mothman sightings, this time in Indiana. So 2017 to 2019 have produced more Mothman sightings than any time since the infamous Mothman incident in Point Pleasant, West Virginia that occurred in the late 1960s. Okay, so between 2017 and 2019 we have had more sightings of this thing, this humanoid thing, than the actual sighting in, Mount Pleasant. It's odd. Since the 1960s, so the sightings began around Lake Michigan shoreline around Chicago. So I don't know. I've seen some pictures. They look fake. You can tell they're fake. So the latest area where a winged man-like creature was sighted, interestingly, on a beeline between Lake Michigan and the Ohio River Valley in east central Indiana. So the sighting occurred just after Christmas of 2018 near Muncie and came to light in January of 2019. So, crazy. So the Lake Michigan area Mothman sightings put the Chicagoland area on edge during 2017, which was a hot spot around Calumet Park near the Indiana-Illinois line. It's creepy, a little creepy. So the Point Pleasant Mothman incidents became tied into the UFO sightings, the Men in Black, and the collapse of the Silver Bridge. So it's worth remembering, as this Facebook user said, quote, sightings of the Mothman are usually a warning that something is about to happen. So, alright, we have 35. Yes, US 35 connects Lake Michigan at Michigan City, Indiana, through Muncie to Point Pleasant, West Virginia. It's US 35 that runs over the Silver Bridge. So if you guys can see that, it's a map, which you can't. So it's a map just showing how we are all connected and where it actually was spotted in Muncie, Indiana. So it's just very strange. Very strange. I mean, is something going to happen? What's going to happen? So it's been connected now to the Men in Black and UFO sightings. So what's the Men in Black? I'm curious about that. The Men in Black. What is it? A legend? Legend? Should I just type in legend? Legend I think I'll just type in paranormal. That'll bring up paranormal. Okay. Alien Paranormal. This is a documentary that you can get on iTunes, Prime Video, and Tubi TV. So, you can probably get this on Amazon. Wow, this wind is seriously like 60 miles an hour gusts. So I don't know if I'm still connected. Yeah, I am. Alright, so we have, the Men in Black, a documentary on Bigfoot, UFOs, and the Men in Black. So I'm just going to look up the Men in Black Paranormal. Alright. 9 freaky encounters with the real Men in Black that seriously give you the creeps. Alright, you can get that movie on Amazon as well. So, this is thoughtcatalog.com. So, and this is by Jacob Geers. And this has been updated on September 24th of last year, 2018. So, you might remember the Men in Black from the Will Smith movie, but supposedly the movie is based on a real government agency. The FBI. That'd make the most logical sense. Alright, so who are the real Men in Black? Depending on who you ask, the Men in Black, MIB, are either another nutty UFO conspiracy. Yes, which I'm probably thinking is true. Or they are part of a secret government agency designed to prevent the public from learning about more UFOs. So, I'm no clue. I highly doubt this is even factual. It does not. It just seems so just not real. Alright, so the Men in Black always appear unannounced, are usually clad in black business suits, and warn people to give up their research into UFOs or face dire consequences. And no, nobody's gonna... no man in black is gonna intimidate me. I don't care who they are. I don't care if they're ethereal beings. They're not gonna intimidate me to give up anything. I don't have an interest in UFOs right now. So, alright. Or face dire consequences. I don't think so. In many cases, the Men in Black have also seen aliens. So in some accounts, they are aliens themselves, or some form of demonic supernaturals. I highly doubt that. So, but why would the government want to suppress information about UFOs? So as the theory goes, it's because aliens are closer to us than you think. They might actually be everywhere, and if ordinary citizens realized just how real the threat was, there would be a mass panic and a breakdown of social order. I do not think so. I do not think there would be any kind of breakdown in social order or chaos or anything like that. So it's ridiculous. It's all for publicity. It's all fake. So okay, so some folklorists, however, claim that the whole idea of Men in Black is itself a form of mass panic or psychological drama due to suggestibility and a willingness to believe. That's where I'm on. That's where I am right there with this, with the Men in Black. So yes, it is a psychological drama. Big time. One person says it, another person believes it, it spreads. So you have a mass, just like the Zozo phenomena, mass stupidity. Well, this isn't as stupid as the Zozo phenomena. So, where did I go? Oh. Okay. So others, however, insist the Men in Black are part of a real government agency designed to prevent the public from learning the truth about UFOs. They also insist that their experiences are real and that anyone who thinks they're crazy is merely a tool of government propaganda and manipulation. Right there. Okay, who's manipulating who? The people that experience the Men in Black? Because if say I had an experience with the Men in Black, and I told somebody, and they told me that I was, crazy, insane, which is, true. But, where was I going with that? So, okay, let me get this scenario back. Okay, so if I had an experience with the Men in Black, and I told somebody, and they told me I was nuts, and then I fired back, and told them that they were just being tools of the government, propaganda and manipulation. So who's manipulating who? I mean, the people that experience the Men in Black. I do not believe in the Men in Black whatsoever, at all. I think it's ridiculous. So, at the moment, there's no way to definitively declare whether the Men in Black are real or not, because they are kept part of a secret government agency. They may not have been entirely kept a secret, but they've prevented any conclusive evidence of their existence from leaking out to the public. So I don't get it. I don't get it at all. So it's just conspiracy theories. That's all it is. This wind is really, really scary. That tree falls, I'm gone. So if you guys don't see me, that's fine. No, it's not going to fall, I hope not. So, as the dust settled from World War II and the USA launched into a Cold War with Russia, paranoia and conspiracies spread throughout the land. That is what this entire country is made up of, conspiracy theories. So, in this climate of high-tension suspicion arose the first mass sightings of UFOs in American history. So the first known report of a mysterious stranger showing up and warning someone not to talk about their UFO encounters was in 1947 with Howard Dahl. So yeah, since then there have been countless reports where people who have claimed to have been witnessed aliens say that they were subsequently visited by men in black suits who warned them to keep quiet about their experience. I would like for them to show up and warn me not to go about my business. I would love it. Men in Black, my ass. Alright, so writer John Sherwood claims that his friend Gray Barker concocted the myth of the Men in Black in a 1956 book called They Knew Too Much About Flying Saucers. Alright, so we're getting to the source. Alright, Sherwood swears that Gray came up with the theory as a joke, similar to rumors of how L. Ron Hubbard invented Scientology as a part of a bet with another science fiction writer, as to whether he'd be able to invent a successful religion, which I think is true. That's my belief on Scientology. It's pure evil. The people that practice it, you can't get out of it, and if you do, they come after you and try to kill you. Look at the celebrities that were, I mean, my God, it's crazy. Tom Cruise is the craziest person on this planet. Alright, so yes, Scientology is bullshit. Okay, whether or not Sherwood's story is true, this still doesn't account for the fact that Howard Dahl's report of a Men in Black sighting predates Barker's alleged hoax by almost a decade. So since the 1997 release of the original Men in Black film, its sequels, reports of encountering MIBs, have remained fairly steady. So there's currently no way to establish whether any of the claims made in the following stories were true, only that it's true that several people have claimed experiences that are eerily similar. So, number one is the real Men in Black agent who made a coin disappear as a scare tactic. So yeah, that's just odd. So Dr. Herbert Hopkins was working as a consultant on a UFO case in Maine. One evening he received a phone call from someone purporting to be an activist in the UFO community, asking him if he could visit Hopkins to discuss the case. Only minutes later the man arrived. So the man was wearing a black suit and black tie and had very unusual facial appearances. With no hair or eyebrows and an extremely pale figure, Hopkins's dog began barking erratically the minute the man entered the home. After the bizarre visitor was finished questioning him about the UFO case, the visit got even stranger. Here's how it went, according to the website The Night Sky. So the man in black informed Hopkins that there were 2 coins in Hopkins' pocket, which is correct. So, and asked him to remove one. Hopkins compiled and held the coin, a shiny new penny, in the palm of his hand. So So the man in black told Hopkins to watch the coin closely. After a few moments, the coin took on a silvery appearance, and then appeared to be going out of focus. It then began to fade and eventually disappeared altogether. That's what happens when you stare at something for too long. The man in black informed Hopkins that the coin would never be seen on this plane again. He then inquired as to whether Hopkins was familiar with alleged UFO abductee Barney Hill. Hopkins replied that he had heard of Hill, but was under the impression that he had died in the not-too-distant past, so the man in black informed Hopkins that that was correct. Quote, Barney didn't have a heart, said the man in black. Quote, just like you no longer have a coin, unquote. Alright, so it should be noted that Barney Hill actually died of a cerebral hemorrhage. Ooh, that's like right back here, a cerebral hemorrhage. So the man in black then gently suggested that Hopkins destroy any material he had related to the UFO case. Huh. I just think it's ridiculous. Okay, so Hopkins, extremely shaken by the encounter, followed the advice of the man and burned all the files he had related to the case. While he had repeated phone troubles after, the phone company says his line had been tampered with, maybe to tap it, he never saw the man again. Okay, so where are they? I want to see one, like right now. In my near future, I would like to encounter one and have them tell me to stop my research in spirit communication and anything else that they feel like that they should tell me not to do, because I'll do it. Okay, so number 2, the doctor threatened by the men in black and told to stop his UFO research. If I have to, I'll start researching UFO shit just so that these people show up, the men in black, because I want to meet them. Because I can be a man in black too. With a steel ball bat. I can picture it in my mind. In my mind, my father is very, very overprotective, which is very good. I am very blessed to have such protection and love around me. So if these people actually came to my house, aside from security, I think my dad would be out there with a shotgun with these men in black, so that's a really good thing to have. So, alright. Oh, okay. He drew a picture of it. Alright, so Dr. Albert K. Bender was a well-written and extremely intelligent researcher who funded the International Flying Saucer Bureau. My grandpa told me all about this stuff. So, I don't know. My grandpa has researched UFOs almost his entire life. He's loved it. Never, ever has he been visited by the men in black. Alright, so, in 1955, his research was about to yield serious fruit. What kind of fruit? Sounds good. As he prepared to unveil a paper that would prove the U.S. government had, to one degree or another, covered up proof of UFOs. Well, if there are, they did, of course. Who wouldn't? So, he planned to publish his findings in the Space Review. That was until he was visited by the men in black. Alright, Bender claims that 3 men dressed in all black visited him at his home and warned him against pursuing the topic of UFOs any further. The men left Bender scared for his life and immediately shut down all his research and Flying Saucer Bureau. Many people who knew him claim that Bender was a changed man after this encounter. His later works were rambly, almost unreadable, and he seemed to live his life in constant anxiety and terror. He purported to still receive mysterious phone calls with nobody on the other end until the end of his life in 2002. I can't wrap my mind around that and believe it. I can't. Even with these, encounters and these papers. So, alright, now we have the Maury Island incident. So Harold Dahl and his son were salvaging logs on a fishing boat when they spied 6 donut-shaped crafts flying in the air above them. So the crafts drop molten waste onto the lake, which allegedly kills Dahl's dog and injures his son. I doubt it. A few days later, after talking about the affairs with his boss and friends, he was visited by a mysterious man dressed in all black. The man urged him not to discuss the encounter. Not long after, he was also visited by several Air Force agents who were said to be on a mission to go gather information. Dahl's story definitely got the attention of various law enforcement agencies in the United States, leading to the FBI to write a report on the matter. So they did, actually. Oh, Chicago. Radio News in Chicago. Verify the story. Flying disc. Huh. I don't know if you guys can see that one. Everything's almost blacked out. So that's the letter. I'm not buying it. Alright, so... Okay, so not long after the encounter with the Man in Black, Dahl claimed that the whole thing was a hoax, but recanted years after, having allegedly made the first confession under duress. I don't understand this at all. I just... What does the Mothman have to do with the Men in Black? What does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Alright, so now we have the Solway Firth spaceman photo invites a government visit. So Jim Templeton was shocked to discover his figure in the background of a photo of his daughter. His figure, you guys need to write correctly. His figure was not in the camera's view when he took the photo, and nobody had any idea where it came from. The film was verified as authentic by Kodak, and Templeton's story went public not long after he was visited by 2 government agents who referred to themselves as Number 9 and Number 10. This is ridiculous. They demanded to see the site of the photo and questioned Templeton about the event. So, when Templeton told them he didn't see the figure personally, the men became angry and stormed out of the field, never to be seen again. So Templeton was later contacted by 2 employees at a missile launch pad in Australia, who claimed that they saw 2 figures that resembled the man in his daughter's photo on launch pad security footage. Apparently, the missiles at that site in Australia had been produced by only 20 miles away from the field where Templeton took the photo. Alright, so... Okay. 5. Guns no good against aliens. Really? I think people blow all of this way out of proportion. Way out of proportion. Alright, so Paul Miller was returning home after a hunting trip when they saw a luminous disc in the sky. The disc landed in an empty field, and 2 humanoids emerged from the craft. Alright, yeah, humanoid. There we go, we can have Mothman, I don't know. Miller fired his gun at them and believed to have injured one. When he fled down a rural road in his car, however, in that moment he realized he had lost time. It was almost 3 hours later when he first encountered the craft. I don't know. He shrugged it off and went back to his Air Force job the next day. However, upon entering work, he was immediately confronted by 3 men in black suits. They told him that they had his file. Despite having told nobody about the event, the men said that they knew all about it, and mentioned that the encounter would be best forgotten. So Paul says, "They seem to know everything about me, where I work, my name, everything else." Miller said they also asked questions about his experiences, as if they already knew the answers. Miller, terrified, did not come forward about his experience until years later. I don't know. I think it's all just bogus hoax. That's so 6. Radio personality harassed by journalists for talking about UFOs. Okay, so Danny Gordon was a radio personality who became interested in a flurry of Wythe County UFO sightings. Multiple people across the county claimed to have seen bizarre objects in the sky, and Gordon decided to investigate. Gordon became obsessed with getting photos of the objects, including one time where an entire school bus of students saw the UFOs flying over a shopping mall as Gordon took photos. Eventually, Gordon snapped a few photos at extremely close range that allegedly verified that they were not of this world. However, strange things began happening to Gordon. He received a phone call from a man who claimed to be ex-military and warned him that his research could cost him everything, and urged him to stop for his family's sake. Scare tactics. Gordon He was also interviewed by 2 men in black suits who claimed to work for a magazine publication. Not long after the interview, Gordon realized all of his photos were missing. He contacted the magazine for information, and they claimed to have never heard of him, much less commissioned an article about him. So, not long after, Gordon suffered a heart attack, and his doctor warned him that all of the research and stress was jeopardizing his health. Gordon gave up the story and was never bothered again. So, we have number 7, UFO researchers harassed at home by real men in black. Maybe, maybe not. So UFO researcher Jack Robinson and his wife Mary began to experience extremely strange events as they pursued more alien and UFO-related research. They would come home to find their house rummaged and looked through, and their UFO files disturbed. Mary also began to notice a strange man in black suit, com, and hat staring up at their apartment from the doorway. Mary mentioned this activity to a friend who drove over and saw what she was talking about for himself. So the friend, Tim Green, Beckley, snapped a photo above of the man, which is believed to be one of the most ironclad pieces of proof of the men in black. Yeah. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. So, 8. The professor harassed in the library for reading UFO book. So, Professor Peter something claims that he was reading a UFO book in the library when a strange pale man wearing all black sat down next to him. The man began talking to the professor and asked him about his opinion on flying saucers. The professor replied that he wasn't super interested, and the man became very agitated. He eventually, left, leaving Professor Rajwizzik extremely uncomfortable and anxious. He did not reveal this story until many years later, when he finally gave a lecture on the subject. He remains convinced that it was a man in black official who confronted him in the library, and to this day is trying to find more people who have had similar experiences. I don't think any of this is real unless they show up. So, number 9, actor Dan Aykroyd's show shut down by the Men in Black. So Dan Aykroyd has come forward with his story about how he was taping a show about the paranormal. He stepped out to take a phone call from Britney Spears. Really? Yeah, he called for a call from Britney Spears, who was asking him to appear on Saturday Night Live with her. When he noticed a black Ford parked across the street, it was probably Britney Spears. I mean, come on. So, okay, a tall man stepped out of the Ford. Okay, yeah, it wasn't Britney. Maybe Britney 2009 with high heels, and stared him down. Alright, the man, Aykroyd turned away for a moment and then turned back to find that the man in the car had completely vanished. And after he finishes his phone call, he returned to the studio to learn that his show had been cancelled and he was ordered to stop filming immediately. So no, some doubt this claim, but Aykroyd says he knew what he saw and maintains that there was some kind of connection between these men in black and the end of his paranormal show. And this is by Jacob Gears. Thank you for this. So, that's all I got. That's all I got. Especially for the Men in Black crap. So, I don't know. I don't know, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about the Men in Black, the Mothman, the UFO thing? I don't know. Until I see these Men in Black, then... So yeah. But alright guys, what was I gonna tell you guys? I forget. So, alright, everybody have a good day and a good night, and be safe if you're having these crazy winds. It's very freaking windy. And thank you guys for watching. I love you all with all my heart, all the way from Venus all the way back down. And yeah, let me know what you guys think for real down below. So I will see you guys tomorrow, and everybody have a good day and a good night, and thank you guys for watching.